Hello friends of the internet and people that may not actually like me. On this channel I speak about a whole variety of topics, things that just come to my mind and I feel the weird insistent need to just spew out my opinion onto the internet, and yes, that probably should be considered some form of mental illness that you and I probably both have. But yes, on this channel one of the main topics I speak about is just in general a lot of terrible folks, and in today's video, you've guessed it, we're speaking about one of the worst blokes.
Hey guys, this video has been a long time coming.
We do not care.
Yes, Mini Lad is back, and if you're fortunate enough to not know who this human being is, well, allow me to ruin your day by giving you a quick rundown of who Mini Lad is and why people aren't exactly too fond of this bloke. Mini Lad, also known as the man who is notoriously known for liking mini lads, is somebody that is basically known for a lot of YouTube content which is truly wonderful, such as Try Not to Laugh Challenge, 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 and also, you guessed it, the cult classic, Try Not to Laugh Challenge. I mean, hey Mini, I love the series, it's fantastic, but I've got another challenge for you. How about the Try Not to Message Minors Challenge? Oh, you failed that, didn't you? But yes, this human being, as you've probably imagined at this point, is somebody that has been exposed multiple times for doing a lot of horrible things, and there are a lot of videos out there which have a lot of depth about these topics, and I'm not going to go into specifics about that today, but all you need to know is that this bloke is a predator, and not the good kind. And this situation happened around 2 years ago, and you're thinking, well, what happened? Did he get kicked off YouTube? No. Did he stop uploading? No. Did he make terrible apology videos? Yes. In fact, Mini Lad over the last 2 years did actually just continue to upload more horrible, boring content, just in general to, in my opinion, inflate his horrible, damaged ego. And you're thinking to yourself, Fraser, well, I actually loved this guy's content growing up, and that's fantastic. You can do that, but I think this content is horrible, not necessarily because of what's actually in it. I think it's horrible because he continues to use his platform, which he abused and took advantage of years after he was exposed. I think that's absolutely grim, and I think it shows that he's not grown and he's not changed in any way, shape or form whatsoever, and I will explain further in this video. But one video Mini hasn't done in a while is actually a long form piece of content, a video where he just sits down and speaks to the camera, and rather reacting to memes, he just acts like himself. Mini actually hasn't been doing that on his channel for at least 2 years since his last deleted apology video, but Mini has actually done that. The long form content has returned. In a video explaining why being cancelled was the best thing that ever happened to him. You really are terrible.
Okay, I know that title's a lot. That's a statement. That's a hell of a statement.
But yes, now we're up to speed. I kind of want to go through this return video and basically just explain to you all about why this is one of the worst return videos that I've ever seen, and this guy is truly, and I mean truly, a despicable human being, and I do not understand why you feel the need to constantly, well, I do understand, and I will explain why, but just for the love of God, could you just not leave? Just leave. You don't even need to be here. You're a millionaire. Please, go away. Nobody wants you here. But yes, this is a return video whether we like it or not, and we're going to have to speak about it. But before we get into that, please, I have a little request. Could you subscribe to the YouTube channel? If you don't subscribe right now, within 5 seconds, Mini Lad may appear in your bedroom at 3 AM. Well, if you're above the age of 18, he probably won't. But, you know, he might. Who knows?
Okay, I know that title's a lot. That's a statement. That's a hell of a statement.
Yes, it is a lot, because it's a mental title. Why losing everything was the best thing to happen to me. Can we get a real translation there? It wasn't why losing everything was the best thing to happen to me. It was, oh, I was cancelled for speaking to people that I shouldn't speak to, which is actually considered to be a very, very criminal act, and now I've lost basically most of my audience, and I'm trying to recuperate it by seemingly becoming some internet guru. I hate that social media influencers always seem to do this. Whenever they get caught breaking the law, like a very, very bad law to break. Not just, oh, this influencer didn't pay us taxes. That's like 99% of influencers. No, this bloke did one of the worst possible things, and he thinks that he can come back and is like, oh, I'm now this guru with life advice and I'm gonna help you all. Because that's what this video is. The bloke just sits there for 43 minutes and is just like, yeah, guys, I now really am this guru who understands how things work in this world. And it's like, mate, you were just caught out for being a terrible person. And this is something that all of these terrible influencers seem to do. It's embarrassing. Stop this, for the love of God.
Watching this video, it's gonna be, I mean, you can already tell it's gonna be a longer video, I want you to just listen to everything I have to say, and then at the very end up, you can make whatever opinion you want. I'm also going to preface this in saying that this is my experience of the last 2 years. So, with all that in mind, this is going to be kind of a podcast.
What is with the worst human beings on planet Earth just finding the insistent need to start a podcast? You don't need to record every single thought that comes into your mind. The only record that you need to be on is a criminal record. And I know in today's society we like to encourage speaking about our feelings and speaking about how we feel about just in general anything. I think in some scenarios we need to actually be like, we don't need your opinion, mate. we don't need to hear from you. So please, put down the microphone. Maybe hand yourself in. But we are only 34 seconds in, and after this, the man's truly disgusting nature starts to come through. And when I say disgusting, YouTube, I don't mean in terms of looks. I'm not bullying the guy. Just in my opinion, this guy's attitude, mentality, and personality is just utterly vile, and it really does show when he describes of what he was exposed for as merely just being cancelled.
So why do I believe what the title says? Now, I understand that getting in a situation like I managed to get myself in is a very rare thing, because whenever you get cancelled, a lot of people just keep on keeping on, right? I didn't do that as such.
Yes, you didn't do that because you weren't cancelled. I'm sorry, but can we not conflate getting cancelled with this? Like, mate, they're not the same thing. They're not. And I hate, and I know what he's doing. I know that he's not just saying this because he's convinced himself that he was just cancelled. No, the reason he's doing this is because he's trying to downplay what he did to his very small audience that are remaining, to try and convince them that, guys, you know, he's just like all the other influencers that were cancelled. No, you weren't. Being cancelled is like when Trisha Paytas, I don't know, identifies as a chicken nugget. That's a cancelable thing. You committed a crime. You should be in a jail cell, not in a YouTube video.
I froze, and I did, which, you know, it was, I mean, let's be honest. If you manage to get yourself in the situation I'm in, which, as a side note, I believe that if you are getting into content creation and you get to a certain point, everyone is going to get canceled, whether it's major or minor, at some point in their career. That's just the nature of how society is right now.
Oh, shut up. Jesus Christ. What? Oh, you actually make me feel ill. Like, I don't really get angry with it, but mate, have some shame. I've watched this like 4 times, and it just gets worse and worse. The fact he tries to conflate this with just regular internet drama and controversies, mate, it's not the same thing, and I know you know it's not the same thing, which makes you even worse and even more manipulative. In this video, he likes to basically play it off that he's grown, learned, and changed, but honestly, that's complete, utter bollocks. Somebody like this being this level of manipulative has not learned, they've just adapted. He has adapted his mentality in a way to kind of cultivate whatever he has left of an audience. It's what people like Onision do. We see these people who have basically got nothing left just do the best possible PR that they can do to get away with their horrible actions. For some reason, this bloke's still in jail. For some reason, this bloke's still on the website, and that is allowing him to do what he is doing here. And that's extremely dangerous, because that's only going to make it worse for more victims in the future when they try and come out about their stories. Because of people like Minilad who have downplayed those things, people are just going to see their stories as like these little cancellations. No, it's not a cancellation. It's a human being that's had their life ruined. And you may say, that might be a little bit extra. No. You don't know these people. I know a lot of victims who have gone through what Minilat has done to these people, and they have real trauma, and it really takes a long time to recover, and sometimes people don't recover. So the fact that this man has come back onto YouTube as a way to be like, I've changed, I've grown. If you had grown in any sense, you wouldn't have come back to YouTube. I know that you're a millionaire. I know that you don't need to do this, and the only reason you're back is because your damaged ego has force you to come back and try and rectify the personal public opinion on you, which is insane and shows to me you don't care about the victims, you don't care about other people, you just care about yourself.
I'm a great example of what not to do.
Yes, Minnie, you are. You are a great example of not messaging kids. Well done, buddy. That's a great example of what not to do in life. Because, fellas, little life lesson, messaging kids is actually a crime and extremely immoral. So yes, Mini Lad is actually a perfect example of this because, oh yeah, he did that.
I could have handled it like a man. Can I say that nowadays? I don't know. I'm going to say it anyway. I handled it. I should have handled it properly, but I froze. And I mean, the first thing I put out on Twitter, I just left it to my PR team.
I love that he literally admits to this. He's like, oh yeah, guys, I actually had no genuine thought process after when I was exposed for these horrible things. And I just threw it onto a paid PR team. It's like, I say those things in videos about Predators of where PR teams come out and do like work for these influencers. And I've never really seen proper evidence of that because usually these influencers are smart. They wouldn't admit to it, but this bloke is admitting to it. Not because he's trying to be genuine, like in a real normal way. It's because he's creating a false sense of sincerity of where his audience think, wow, this guy's so real, man. It's clear he's changed. He's willing to tell us that that awful thing he did was even more awful when he put out another awful response, which was completely disingenuous. Like, if your first emotional response to something is to be extremely disingenuous, how am I meant to believe that you 2 years later aren't going to be even more disingenuous when you've had 2 years to process this and create a plan? And that's all this thing is to me. It's planned. It's him just trying to recuperate his brand. And mate, it's not going to work. This has got 28,000 dislikes. Yes, it has 8,000 likes, but I'm just going to go out on a whim and say hopefully they're just brain dead 12-year-olds.
I was like, hey, I am fucking scared. So for months, I just froze. There's a bunch of points I would like to make in this video, and the majority of them have come from just having 2 years of just really harsh therapy. Not just therapy sessions, but also like, you know, like even what I did to a few weeks ago, I disappeared into the woods by myself for a few days, and I just wrote. That's all I did. I've been doing things like that a lot. I go to coffee shops. I have a diary that I write in every day. Hold on.
I literally don't care, mate. I don't want to hear about your little venture into the woods where you grew and became a better person. I don't care. I literally don't care. This is meant to be like speaking about one of the worst the worst thing you've ever done, and you're saying how it's better for you. It was a good thing for you because it allowed you to find yourself. That's pretty much what he's saying here. And it's like, I can see that this guy is a multi-millionaire and doesn't need to upload these YouTube videos because for one, they're not getting great views. He's not making much money from this, if anything at all. So I know that this whole thing is an ego project, and the fact that man can just go on holiday into the woods shows to me, yes, he is still rich after everything. He's probably got a lot of investments, he's probably got a lot of money, and it just shows he doesn't need to do this, yet he is going to continue to do it because his little fragile ego was broken when the internet said, hey, guess what, Craig? Messaging minors, not a good thing. Bad thing, really bad thing, and I don't want to support you anymore. But it just gets weirder and weirder because basically after this, he's like, oh yeah, I wanted to make this video because, you know, it could help somebody, even if it just helps one person. I mean, what is this? Group nonce therapy?
I wanted this video to kind of let you know of the things that I've learned over the last 2 years. And admittedly, these are things that have happened to me. I'm in a very, very weird circumstance right now in life.
Yeah, it is very weird to me. I completely agree, mate. It's weird to me that you're not in a prison cell. That's actually really weird. Why are you not in a prison cell? Like, guys, am I the only one that kind of thinks that maybe we should actually start sending these level of criminals to jail? Like, it's weird that we send people who do the most minute things to jail, but people like this, multi-millionaires, just seem to consistently get away with that. So yes, Craig, I would agree. That's a very weird situation to be in, and I really think we need to rectify that by sending you to jail.
There may be like little tidbits here and there that you can apply to your own lives, and even if it helps one person, to me, that's the most important thing. I'm able to let people know where I am, which is great, because I want to get back into this stuff, regardless of money or not. But if I'm able to help people along the way, then it's an absolute win for me.
And to me, this pretty much shows that this whole thing is an ego project because he's basically admitted, yeah, this isn't about money. He does not need money. And this is about rebuilding his brand because his ego has been completely damaged. And that proves to me he's not learned, he hasn't changed, and he doesn't care. Because if he did care, he'd realize what he has done is unforgivable, and the very least thing he can do is just, you know, maybe not use that platform which he abused. Maybe not use that anymore, because he kind of has forfeited that right, in my opinion. He has used it multiple times to do a lot of bad things, and I think at that point, you should maybe just move on with your life. Take the L, admit, yeah, I was lucky here about not facing further repercussions, and move on. You've got your millions, you do not need to do this, but no, you're not going to do that because you have a fragile ego, and that clearly shows here.
But if I'm able to help people along the way, then it's an absolute win for me.
Honestly, the only thing I can really see in this video is a bloke who clearly knows that his career is absolutely and utterly finished, so he's now trying to rebrand as this self-help, nice guy who can just relate to his little audience. And it's like, mate, if you cared about helping people's mental health and helping people in general, you would have been doing that 6 years ago when you actually had a major platform. But no, you were making try not to laugh videos, and guess what? Even more try not to laugh content. You wouldn't have been doing that, you would have been doing it 6 years ago, trying to help people then. I'm not saying you should have then, but if you really did care, I think you would have done this a long time ago. It's a little bit strange to me that now you're seen as a terrible person, you're trying to branch out as a nice guy. But what makes this whole thing even worse is throughout this entire video, he does just kind of continue the rhetoric of, oh yeah, being cancelled was the best thing that ever happened to me because it helped me get out of a toxic cycle. It's like, oh my God. Like, oh, why are you such a self-victimizing, horrible person? Like, that's all I'm getting from this video. Utter self-victimization. And it just completely shows in this next clip.
Diving in deeper, one thing I realized is because of this, I was in a constant state of proving myself. And what that means is because I was never best friends with anyone, I was constantly on edge trying to make sure I could say something funny, do something, or, you know, just interact with these people around me so they wouldn't kick me out of whatever friend group I was in. And I was just so used to just proving myself, like, please let me stay. And that, because I went straight from my school years into my YouTube years, that never left. And I didn't know that until, during these last 2 years. I literally had to reinvent myself, and I had to figure out every little piece of the puzzle. Like, everything that has went wrong in my life, I had to look at, pinpoint, and say, why?
Again, this is a scenario we mentioned earlier of where influencers get exposed for horrible things, and they like to basically spin everything off as cancel culture and turn this thing into like this weird spiritual journey. They're now these YouTube gurus who have changed, and they've left the stratosphere of the YouTube algorithm, and they're now just above that, and they've finally found themselves. And all it screams, again, is just self-victimization. There's just this weird main character syndrome that a lot of these horrible YouTubers have, of where they get exposed for something terrible, and they like to kind of, to deal with that, act like they're in some form of movie. They like to be like, oh, yeah, I was like in the first and second act of a movie of discovering that my life isn't that good, and then I went into the third act of, yeah, discovering that actually I am a human being. And it's like, I mean, barely. Like, I'm genuinely convinced this is a mentality so many YouTubers have. Like, they think the third act is gonna be when everybody likes them again and, you know, everything's fine. But it's like, no, mate, your third act is sinking quicker than the Titanic. Now, the majority of this video is basically Craig saying how his life for the last few years was just unbelievably stressful because everybody recognized him and he was just so unbelievably cool, and that was just stressing him out. And Craig, why was that stressing you out? Was it because a lot of those people that knew you took advantage of, and you were probably worried that because you were so well known that one of them would eventually come out and expose you? That's probably why, isn't it? Actually, that makes a lot of sense to why you were stressed and anxious. But then further in this video, Craig goes on to explain what his headspace was like when he originally got exposed 2 years ago, and how he took 2 months off and then randomly started to come back and try to upload again like a month after that. And it's like, yeah, why would you do that? Because to me, that just shows that even in your rawest emotion, when you just first originally got exposed, even then, you couldn't really just do anything real or normal. And it's only proven when he says that he did all of that because he was told to do that.
I initially tried to come back a month after everything happened. I was told, I listened to the people around me, they're just like, just take a month off and just get back to recording and everything will go away in due time. Just keep uploading. I remember telling him, like, I don't like this idea, but I'm going to do it because I am panicked and I'm small and I panicked. I really did. I handled this so badly. So I kept uploading. And I remember after every time I upload, I would cry. And I would tell my managers, like, I hate every fucking second of this. Why am I doing this?
I mean, I completely agree. Why are you doing this? Like, please, don't do this. Like, man, honestly, just take the video down and just maybe just delete the channel. Or just don't come back to it, because why are you doing this? That's the best thing you've said in the video, mate. That's a fantastic thing to say. Why are you doing this? Oh yeah, we've got the answer, because you've got a fragile ego.
It's like, let me make the apology video and let me just take time to breathe and to grow. And it took me 6 months to get around to that point, to finally break away from just uploading.
I love that he says here that, oh yeah, it took me 6 months to basically realize what he had done. And it's like, 6 months? After all the people on YouTube, because there were a lot of videos at the time. I didn't make a video about it because there were so many videos about it, and I thought that I don't really need to say anything because everyone else has said things. And it's like, everyone was saying that you are bad for this specific thing. Why did that take you 6 months to realize? That's genuinely really worrying, and I'm actually further concerned about you, man. 6 months to realize that what you did was a bad thing? Like, the thing which you kind of always grow up knowing is a horrible thing, you did, and it took you 6 months to comprehend that that said thing was bad. How is that even possible?
And, you know, it's not their fault, because a lot of people have got through their cancellations by just going through it. But I care a lot about what people think of me.
Oh God, what? Oh man, oh, I can't even put it into words right now. The fact that, again, you conflate this with regular YouTubers being cancelled. Oh man, I've taken a little breather, but it's still insane. It's so unbelievably insane. YouTubers get cancelled because they have a bad opinion on something. They may say something bad. I don't know. They made a bad tweet 5 years ago. That's why somebody regularly gets cancelled. What you did wasn't a cancellation. It was being exposed for a criminal action. And then the fact he goes on to be like, well, I'm not like those guys because I actually care. It's like, mate, those guys can upload through it, because for the most part, probably in those situations, it's like people think, oh yeah, you can grow and change from that, and we're going to see that for the progression of your content and what you put onto the internet compared to what you used to. But now it's like with you can't do that, buddy, because you have committed a crime which severely impacted people's lives. I'm sorry, mate, you abused your platform, and there is no other way of rectifying that than stopping the use of your platform. So please, if you actually think that you care and think that you've grown and changed, just stop uploading onto this platform, because I don't think that you should be doing that anymore, given everything that you've done with it. But then it just gets even more insane when he starts to blame all of his previous actions based on the fact that he didn't get therapy. Like, oh my God. And I'm going to explain why that's so bad, but just look at this.
And I wish I knew from like 2017 onwards I needed to go into therapy. I really did. I knew I needed to. I just didn't. And oh boy, do I fucking regret it.
Craig, billions of people don't get therapy because a lot of people aren't rich millionaires like you, mate, and they can't afford therapy. But the weird thing is like, there's not this consistency of people without therapy go and, message mini lads. No, they don't do that. They just continue all their lives and deal with their issues in a regular, normal human being way. You conflating what you did with not getting therapy is mental. I know a lot of mentally ill YouTubers that, don't get therapy. They probably should and probably actually can afford it, but don't. But at the same time, they're not going out of their way to message mini lads like you did. But after everything, fellas, it just surprises me even further, because the bloke then says something even worse. Like, I have said throughout this, it's gotten worse and worse and worse. But then he compares this situation to going on holiday.
Someone said in passing, and I really thought about this, what if YouTube had a vacation mode? And I remember thinking like, okay, I like this idea, but what does it mean? If you take a week off, YouTube kicks you out of the algorithm, you're fucking washed. That's it. It'll take you months to be able to get back in. I think it'd be sick that if at the top of the banner it could say so and so is on vacation, and they should have a thing where it says you can have a comeback date where it's like so and so will be back 7th of July 2022. If you want, you can upload a video, and the trailer could be like, if you want to see a sneak peek of their next piece of content that they're doing when they come back, this is it. And it'd be like a 15 second little snippet of whatever is to come.
I mean, what's your 10-15 second snippet going to be, Minnie? Is it going to be your next apology video? Like, I don't know what even you're trying to say here. You're trying to say that YouTube should have a vacation mode. It's weird to me that you do something terrible and then you kind of start to blame YouTube. Like, I understand that not uploading can take you out of the algorithm, but mate, the reason you're not getting views isn't because of the algorithm. It's because people don't want to watch you anymore because what you did is horrible. And I genuinely don't think you understand that, which is even more mental to me, given you've just made a 43-minute video trying to convince everybody desperately that you've changed, grown, and learned from this. If anything, you're just more delusional than you were 2 years ago. It's just so unbelievably disgusting that he is conflating him leaving for 2 years with going on holiday. You didn't go on holiday, you ran away from the consequences of your actions, mate. And I'm actually mortified that you're blaming YouTube and their algorithm.
YouTube kicks you out of the algorithm, you're fucking washed. That's it. It'll take you months to be able to get back in.
I think it would be great if YouTube terminated your channel. I know people like to be like, oh, but that's a slippery slope. Everybody should have a platform. Actually, I disagree. I think if you've done what this bloke has done, you have forfeited the right to have a platform with millions of subscribers. Because, hey, what if he did exactly what he did before again? I don't see somebody that's changed here. I just see somebody that's upset that they got caught. And that makes me think maybe it could happen again. Or maybe it is happening right now. That's an opinion, not a fact. Don't sue me. But yeah, I'm worried that maybe it could happen again because he's clearly not changed in my opinion. If anything, he seems angry at the YouTube community in YouTube. He's like, I can't believe that I'm not in the algorithm anymore. It's like, you're speaking about this horrible thing, but you're still blaming other things and factors. And it's like, bro, that is so mental. And I'm actually impressed that you've somehow made a worse response and apology video than James Charles did. And in fact, I don't even think this is an apology video. I think this is more just this person clearly, visibly and audibly angry that he's not doing as well as he used to do on YouTube. And he then even goes on to say that the last 2 years were the best years and worst years of his life. And the reason it was the worst years wasn't because of what he did and what he was exposed for, but it was because he had to self-reflect.
I've had the worst and best 2 years of my life. Worst because I had to confront who I was as a person. Who was I? I need to rediscover who that guy was because Craig Thompson died years ago.
No, I don't think it was the worst because of that. I think it was the worst for that in your mind because you were no longer earning millions of dollars a month. I'm sorry, but I don't think that you actually care about any form of self-reflection because it's weird, as I said earlier, that you've started this whole, I guess, self-help guru thing when you weren't doing that 6 years ago when you were earning loads of money. You're only now doing it because you're desperately trying to make yourself appear to be this good guy and almost get poor, young, little people out there to relate to you because, yeah, they may have made mistakes in their life, but because they're young and they don't really understand the real serious thing that Minilad has done, they may actually conflate their mistakes with what Minilad has done. Minilad's thing isn't a mistake, it's a crime. Please do not mix these things up, and that's what he's trying to get people to do. He is manipulating his whatever audience he has left into believing that he can relate to them, and that's going to make them stay and give him like this cultivated audience, and that's just worrying, disturbing, and only shows to me that this bloke has not changed whatsoever. I dubbed this video as YouTube's worst predator has returned because in my opinion, this is probably the worst response video I have ever seen by somebody who has faced the same allegations that Minilad has. This is truly an actual disturbing video, and I don't visibly really get that angry in videos, and I speak about these things quite a lot, but this was surprisingly horrible and horrific, and I'm not just selling out out when I say this, but I urge you to share this video or just share your thoughts on Minilad's video, because I think people need to know about this and the manipulative tactics that somebody like this actually displays in these response videos in a desperate attempt to cultivate whatever an audience that he has remaining. As I said earlier, it's no different to what Onision did, and if anything, it's slightly worse. But yeah, I'm going to end this video by saying, good God, Craig, please just leave YouTube. I refuse to believe that you've grown or changed in any sense if you're still uploading on this platform. But yeah, thanks for watching this video. I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't mean this to be this like over serious, but you know, what can you do? Please like this video, because I'm sure their nutjob fan base is going to come along and just dislike bomb this. Please subscribe, that would be wonderful. Please comment your opinions down below, and please follow my social medias, inabber69 on Twitter, inabber on Instagram, and inabber live, the second channel. All there in the description. Thank you very much for coming along, you beautiful people. I'll see you in the next video, where we're probably going to clown on somebody, I think in a video with George and Alex. Maybe out next week, who knows? It may be out whilst you're watching this video. Thanks for watching. Peace out. Have a lovely day.